Anyways, we'll just... I think it'll be fine, as long as we start talking meow. All right.
We didn't start talking meow, though. We stalled. We all stalled.
Nobody said anything.
You said meow, and nobody said anything. Just pointing that out.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Agrees. My name's Adrian.
Pointing that out.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Agrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm the special guest. I'm Gabbi. I'm a TTRPG player and a note taker and a mom and a reader. So, hello.
Hi, welcome.
You're so
Gabbi.
relatable, Gabbi. You're such a relatable person.
Thanks, because I don't feel it most days.
This struggle is my own.
You got the everyday man here.
Just a low man on the totem pole, okay, guys? I just live day to day, okay?
I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Wait, no, I jump into them. You don't jump into
What
them?
the fuck?
1, 2.
I don't put one leg at... Do you put one leg completely in at a time? I put,
No, it's like
both
a
legs
half.
in, and then... Okay.
Okay, I thought you were, all the way up and then trying to, MacGyver your other leg up and in.
I wish I was that flexible. I got thick thighs, dude. I
Same.
You don't have to tell anybody at this podcast you got thick thighs. We all got thick thighs.
Thick Thigh Club.
TT RPGs. Thick thighs, role-playing games.
Nice. I want to talk about Half-Blood Happy Hour, Devils in the Dice. I want to talk about all your podcasting projects.
Okay.
Tell us about... We'll start with Half-Blood, because I think with you, we've completed the set.
I think we do have a complete set.
Am I the final?
Yeah.
Wait, did you do Magnus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know whether to feel good or bad that I'm the last one.
You bet. Okay,
you were the pregnant. You were the pregnant when we were going through all of our... Mm-hmm.
I was pretty pregnant, and then I went through a divorce and moving, and that's fair. Okay, I take it back. I feel okay.
Yeah, this isn't a preferential thing. This was for your goodwill thing.
It's a little busy.
Yeah, just a little.
God, no, I'm on Half-Blood Happy Hour. I've been on it since the beginning. I'm now playing 2 characters on the show, technically. One of my characters had to take a little break. She's off doing her own fucking thing. So now I'm playing a wizard. So I play a couple of fun things on Half-Blood Happy Hour. And a Daughter of Hades, which is always fun.
Do you feel was this character change, was it for the good of the party, something you weren't feeling, and what was that conversation with your DM like?
The break for Andromeda was actually something that I planned out with Noah, the DM, when I was creating the character. When they brought up the idea of Hunters of Artemis, I said, this is going to be something that I can see Andromeda in my brain without anything having happened that she would want to do at some point. And they said, I can make that happen. And as we were playing it out, they kept saying, is this still something you want to do? And I'm saying, I'm not sure. But as we were playing it out, it became fairly obvious that there was going to be a really good point for her to take that break and go when things were kind of going south with her and her brother, and it was going to be a breakaway, become her own person sort of situation. And so it was some planning on me and Noah's part, a lot more planning on more of how we're going to bring in the new character, so that way I didn't have to take a long break from the podcast. But overall, it was something that we kind of planned from the beginning, really, for her. It's more of a step that we knew she was going to have to take at some point.
That's good, because it seemed to line up with, your life falling apart. So, if those two things merged together, I was like, that sucks.
Yeah, it was pretty actually cathartic for me to be this kind of... When we were recording, I don't think it's actually out yet. It might be when this comes out, I'm not sure. But there's a scene where she just kind of she says she gives up her memories of her brother. That I know is out, so that's not a spoiler. And she had written a letter. And that letter that I wrote was cathartic for me because I felt like I was writing it almost like to myself when I wrote it it's time to break away and move on. So it was really cathartic for me writing it and then seeing it play out in Half-Blood Happy Hour.
Do you get like what's called a double kind of catharsis where like once when you do it and then once when it's released kind of thing?
Yes. And actually I get like a triple because I get it when I listen to it when it's released because I always listen to the episode the day it's released. But then I get it again when my mom listens to the episode and she's telling me about it. So I get it like a third little like spurt of
Hell yeah.
fun and energy when she's like, I just listened to Save Me Over Las Vegas. Is that Marcus? Is Marcus in Las Vegas? And I'm like, yeah, Mom. Like, look at you. You're putting together the pieces.
Awesome. I've been part of Half-Blood Happy Hour for a little bit. I have a very beloved, hated character.
I love your character.
Thank you. And, you know, working with y'all was a very good time. As this kind of project kind of carries on, and from my experience, you are the note taker.
Yes, the capital T, capital N, the note taker.
Do you feel a lot of pressure because of it?
Yes. I feel pressure, and that pressure I put on myself. No one else puts that pressure on me, I should say. Like, my co-stars are not ones who are like, Gabby, you didn't take notes? No, it's I put it on myself, and then I write, like, here's my notebook for Half-Blood Happy Hour. It's pretty, I mean, those are all the notes that I've taken. Like, it's pretty there. And the thing is I write it in a way that I know what happened, but then I go a step further and I have a document that everyone can see, and then I type it out. And it pretty much is just like a basic, like if you're reading a story of what was happening, that's how I've written it. So it's like word for word, Andromeda said blank, blank, blank sort of situation. Could be a transcription of the episode if I really wanted it to be sort of thing. And everyone kind of uses that as I say everyone. No one uses it but me and Noah. I don't think anyone else uses it except for Lucy when we do our after hours talks to look at what happened in the episodes.
You know, you said that no one's telling you not to take notes, but I don't think there's a part where you're not taking notes anyways, right? Like,
correct. There is never a point when I'm not taking notes.
Say that.
I'm taking notes even when I'm not in the scene, and I'm like, I make a little note for myself, like a box around it, and I say, you don't know this, but I need it so everyone else knows it.
Do you play all TTRPGs like that, or are you always the note taker?
Yeah. I tried not to be. Every once in a while, I try not to be, and I still somehow fall into taking notes. Even in one-shots. Like, I have a whole one-shot notebook. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question.
One-shots. I mean, this is back from, I don't even know, 2 years ago. These are all one-shots that I've been a part of that I've taken notes for. Like, I take notes for everything, because I can't not take notes. It gives me something to do with my hands while I'm playing.
Because we've played together, and I think my one-shot notes end up being, like, scraps of paper I find, and then I keep on, like, strategically piled for 6 months afterwards, and I'm like, I'll never need this again, and I throw them away. But I like the idea of actually putting them in a notebook, because that's kind of fun, too.
It's one of those where, like, I go back now, and, like, there's a couple of, like, Halloween one-shots that a couple of friends ran these past couple years. There was one, Adrian, that you ran on your Twitch at one time that you asked me to be a part of with a bunch of people. And I have the notes from that one in there, from our sky fight and stuff. Like, it's all in there, and I can kind of remember all of those one-shots because I took notes on it. I remember what happened.
Do you feel like do you look back on them like, oh, I remember this on a
Yeah.
constant basis, or is this like
Oh,
every
not a
couple
constant
months?
basis. It's more of a when I go to play a one shot and I get my one shot notebook out to be able to play it. I'm like, oh wait, do you remember when we played this one shot or you ran this one shot?
That's so good.
And they're like, how do you remember that? And I go, it's in my notebook. Duh.
Dude, I barely remember the stuff I run, to be honest.
That's because you don't prep. You just say, we're playing.
Yeah.
No, it's
I
because he
think
goes
it's a
into
good
the
time.
avatar state. So he like turns blue and just like his eyes white out, and then he's just in
He
this
glows a
creative
little
mode.
bit.
I do both Avatar with the blueness and then Avatar with the white eyes. Both sets of avatars. I grow a tail.
But the tail doesn't start where you want it to start.
I don't
No.
want to know where that is.
Wherever it is,
mid-back.
dear listener, you're right. Wherever you thought the tail came from, you are right.
You hit it. You ever play pin the tail on a donkey?
I want out of this now. Yeah, it's a different spot every time. I have like holes in my shirt. It's not the same area either. Sometimes I get lucky and it just comes out the armpit.
That's what she said.
Why? Oh my god.
Listen, No. Today's a day off for
Oh,
me.
fuck.
We were watching The Office, and I didn't realize I stopped watching The Office when Michael Scott left, and I was like, that's the end of The Office. I'm not watching anymore. And so I attempted to go work out and then came back home because my workout partner called me and said, we're not going to go work out. And I said, cool. And I turned my car around. I guess I'm not going either. And Michael had The Office on, and I was like, I haven't seen any of these. Did I just like stop watching them? I have never seen any of these episodes. And then it wasn't until like hour 2 of watching that I was like, oh, these are, I haven't seen Michael Scott. So wait, I don't think I've seen any of these. So I called myself an Office fan, but found out this morning I am not.
You're like a 3/4 Office fan, right?
Yeah.
Is this where I tell
Yeah.
you where I admit that I've never seen an episode of The Office?
In the year of the Barbie movie, 2023, probably not something you can just start and be like, this is fine. Because the first couple of episodes, you're like, yikes.
Yeah, and all of that free time that I have too.
Yikes.
You know, trying to.
Right,
binge
okay.
it.
It's fine. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry I'm bragging
Nice.
about all my free time. 5 o'clock in the morning, I didn't have anything better to do.
That's what I read.
Gabby's got a whole fucking baby.
My baby's walking. Okay, I don't know if he's so much a baby
the
anymore.
Oh my gosh. Still
Yeah,
always a
remember
baby.
I remember just feeding videos of like him in his little plate thing, you know?
Yeah, and now
That's
he's
the last time I remember.
toddling around. It
Jeez
fucking.
Louise.
I was not ready for him to start walking. But here we are. I don't really get a say when he does or doesn't do things now, so.
But you could do something about it if you really wanted to, but
Break
I
his
don't
legs?
suggest
Is that
it.
what you're trying to say?
Listen, that's not what I was intending. I'm not behind child harm. I mean, if it's a big complaint, I guess we could do something about it. I'm not doing shit about it though, so, you know.
Speaking of child harm, Tony's podcast.
Oh my god, yes. Rolling the dice. I've been on a few of Tony's stuff.
Doesn't he incorporates kids. I don't know what he does with the
Yes.
kids, but I just know they're like, it's nightmare
Well,
fuel.
that's... Oh, actually, both Okay, so I've been on the 2 Halloween specials. The one that's being released right now, and then the one that was out last year. Last year was Leo Lion, so it was like an amusement park that was haunted. And children died there. And we were children ourselves, and we almost died. And then this past, or the one that's right now, it was based off of a children's show. Like, it's kind of based off of kind of like Blue's Clues meets Saw, is how Tony described it to me. And when we recorded it, yeah, I can pretty much say that it was Blue's Clues meets Saw. That's a pretty accurate description of what we recorded.
For the listeners, can you give us a bit of a brief, like, to draw them into that horror for this latest, I guess, season?
Yeah, sure. It is like a group of us all met on a what is that? Reddit. I don't use Reddit, so it took me a second to think of what it was called. We had a subreddit that we were all a part of for this kids show that we all watched as kids. And it was kind of like a mystery. He disappeared at one point. The house disappeared at one point. And then all of a sudden he kind of came back and said that he was going to do a revival show. And he was inviting some of his biggest fans out there. So there's some mystery around it. And at one point we get locked in the house. And there's puzzle rooms. And some of us have to face some of our biggest fears. So it's kind of... Tony does a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of horror, but most of their stuff has had like a touch of horror to it, which, as somebody who is not a fan of the horror genre in general, Tony does it very well that, I feel like I need a pee pad underneath.
Oh, good kind of well. I'm like, oh, you feel safe? No, you feel safe, but still need a pee.
Yes, I feel safe, but I'm scared. It's a safe scared.
Gotcha. Is there a lot, like, because I know that in any TTRPG, having puzzles can be a bit of a difficult thing. Are there times where either, like, the players are like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I guess I'm just gonna die, or does it feel like there's enough give and take between the DM and the players that it seems to be, like, hard enough, but not to the debilitating point?
I think it's very much the latter, especially if you have a good DM where they notice that you as the players are not catching on to what's going on with the puzzle. I think it's like Tony and Noah are both really good examples of if we don't look like we're understanding what's going on, they kind of throw in like, oh, you noticed, remember you saw this, re-emphasizing things that might help you and us as the players figure out what the puzzle is and how to kind of get through it without taking too long for a podcast format, or also not like hitting the same points over and over and over again.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many memes out there that's like giving your group a puzzle for a 5-year-old, and they're just like banging their heads against the wall and shit like that.
I mean, let's be realistic, and I think there's a difference too between like maybe podcast TTRPGs and then like one shots that you're playing with just your friends that we do like online, because there have been one shots where we've spent an hour in a room because we don't know what the fuck we're supposed to do in there. But then you turn around and on the podcast they don't want to spend an hour, which is how long our episodes are, in one puzzle room. So they're going to help us along to try and get through and keep the story moving, where if you're at home, it's a little different. Yeah, you could take the hour. What the fuck do I care? Yeah, that
less things
triangle's red. So.
Gotcha. That's good. I can't wait to listen to some of those puzzles. I fucking love puzzles. Even though I'm bad at giving them.
You're really bad about giving them though. Like, some of us are dumb. Okay? Some of us just are dumb. And we sat there and tried to puzzle, and I was like, cool, I'm done. I
recently made a new puzzle, and I hand fed a lot more than I have ever did before, because I know that one of my players, Dave, he hates puzzles. He just absolutely hates it. So it's tough for me. So when I gave them this little, like, I physically drew stuff, and I gave them 2 pictures, and essentially they had to flip a picture and then kind of match it up a bit. And it was just a little bit slow, and some guy said it has to be this, and I'm like, one, I never said it had to be this, but I'm gonna try to figure out how to incorporate this guy's hyperfixation into the answer to the puzzle. So I kind of let it go on a little bit more. I gave them more hints. I said, "You're on the right track." I gave them more breadcrumbs. That way, they felt like they were actually going somewhere instead of like staring into oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be honest, me personally, I hate hints. I want to do it on my own, but I can't put that pressure of what I like into what I give to other people, because that's not what not everyone wants. They want progress. They want hints. They want to know that they're on the right track. Things like that. So I've had to alter my thinking on puzzles.
I'll be honest with you, I'm much more like you, where I like to be able to figure it out on my own, because I like the satisfaction of having figured it out on my own.
Yes.
And being like, haha, bitch, fuck you, I did it. So, I don't know, it feels kind of like, there was a puzzle in the Johnny's house, and the one that's in the episodes with Tony that's just coming out, where we were kind of split into two different rooms, and we had to talk on the phone to be able to figure out, because our room had clues for the other room to know what phone number they were supposed to call. And then their room had the clues for our room. But it took us a hot minute to figure out that their clues were our clues and our clues were their clues. And we're trying to do shit. And Tony's like, wow, it looks like maybe you should just contact each other and, I don't know, figure out what is going on. And I was just like, oh. See, I was just trying to figure out my clues, but I can't figure out my clues because they're not my clues. So that's an instance where it was probably like a little helpful to have that little extra nudge in the correct direction.
Mm-hmm. I'm the puzzle person that I need to walk away from it, like, entirely. Like, I can look at it and I'm like, cool, this is great. If I don't get in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I gotta go. And then I gotta go to, like, wash my hair or like do something else, and then I can come back and I'm fine. Like, it's almost immediate. I was playing Storyteller on the Switch, and there were like
I want to play that so bad.
It's not as long as you want it to be, just so you know.
Damn it.
I played it in like, well, I guess 3 days, because I had 2 puzzles that really stumped me, and I was like, I have to put this down. I have to walk away. I have to just go do something else. Or I'm going to crack it, I'm going to look it up online, and then I'm going to move on to the next level. Like, so I think that's the only, for me as a player, that's the only frustrating part. Like, I literally cannot be in it the whole time. I need the breadcrumbs, because I will quit so fast if I can't get it immediately. I'm like, okay, cool. That's not my problem.
You guys figure it out. Good luck. I've checked out.
This is not my circus, not my monkeys.
That's what I say every time that I get separated from the group in Half-Blood Happy Hour and they do something fucking stupid. That's when I sit there and I go, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys. But guys, you guys are fucking dumb.
To be fair, though, y'all are teenagers, so at least it's playing true to the...
Yeah, I think that's a hard part for me, because as a person, I was never like the typical teenager. My mom had cancer when I was in 5th grade, so I grew up real fast. So I was never like that type of teenager. So how I play Andromeda and how I play Olivia is very much how I was as a teenager. I'm not much different. So when they're like, yeah, we're just gonna go fucking do this, I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to me? I thought you loved me. Don't do this. Why do you want to commit domestic terrorism? Maybe we don't do that.
Why not?
That's exactly the question I get asked. Well, why not? Maybe because it's a bad fucking idea.
It's fine.
My whole rant was response to this question. Why not?
Because it's a bad fucking idea, dumbasses. Oh my gosh. You want to steal a plane? Why?
I thought it'd be fun.
You and Zach should play together.
Who?
Alex and Zach. Could you imagine Alex and Zach in a one-shot together with Magnus? No.
You know, as long as
There's
there's
a lot of
not
chaos.
other loud players, because I think, especially remember like playing with big groups, as soon as there's like more than 4 people, my playstyle goes whoop, and I don't need to be the center of attention. And then, but if it was just like a few people and the chaos was welcome and I knew I was in a safe, so like that's it, right? That importance of creating a safe space to make weird decisions. I need like that extra boost of confidence that somebody's not gonna be like, that fucking Alex girl's weird. Like, what the fuck was she doing? Because I don't have that on my own.
Yeah.
Despite
Well,
this,
I also think there's a difference too between like me going, that's a fucking dumb move, to I mean, yeah, do it. Like that, and I feel like I'm always in that balance because I establish myself as the character that says don't do dumb shit, that I can't tell them that, yeah, they should do that dumb shit. So I'm texting them behind the scenes as Gabby being like, yo, do that dumb shit. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Do that dumb shit. That's some dope ass dumb shit that you're trying to play.
I like that knowledge, because there's some bleed between like, are you telling me or your character telling me that? So you giving that reassurance that like, hey man, I can't wait for what you fucking do is very good between players.
Zach and I have an ongoing text message chain, especially when I was in Andromeda. Not so much now that Olivia is on the scene, but because we were playing siblings, and the siblings were very much not getting along, and there were some very harsh scenes between the two of us, where as soon as Noah kind of changed direction, I'm texting Zach, Zach's texting me, we're like, that was just our characters, like, we're Gucci, everything's fine, like, I was not yelling at you, I was yelling at Jackson, I know it feels like it's you, but it's not actually you, and I know you're not mad at me, and there's a lot of reassurance on all sides, and that happens, like, when Harmonica has a fight with Soul, or Marcus, or Jackson, or something, like, we all kind of check in with each other behind the scenes to be like, yo, just know, like, that was not, it was us, but it wasn't us. It was our characters, and we're still good. I'm not mad at you. Which is real good for someone like me, who's a sensitive bitch. So when someone yells at me, I want to cry.
Yeah, there are some like intense scenes where I'm just like, are they all right? Like, there's like, you guys are like putting some heart and soul into that stuff, and I'm just like, damn, that was rough. Like, that felt emotional, and I'm just like, I think they're okay.
Here's my fake mimic hand.
Hey man, what about that fake mimic hand? No, I haven't even used that fake mimic hand.
Not yet.
A reference to an item I have as one of the characters in Half-Blood Happy Hour.
Actual mimic for a hand.
Yeah, why not? I asked Noah. Noah said, hell yeah, let's do it. Apparently, we've talked about a lot of the logistics, because there's a lot of potential of me just getting devoured with that hand, because it's just eating things anyways. There's a blood price to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's dangerous. But I need to keep up appearances, and also make sure I'm holding people with the right hand and not the wrong one.
Not the wrong one.
Yeah. During one of the scenes, I'm like, I put my right hand, I put this here.
You
like,
did. It was when we put our hands on the orb to like get transported out or whatever, when we were all holding hands or whatever. You said it, and now it's there in my brain. I can remember you saying that, and I was like, at the time, like, why the fuck were they so specific about what fucking hand they were using? Who gives a shit? It's important.
It's important. It's important. I had to always keep that in mind. So yeah, good times. I love a good secret, even though most of y'all know it now. Out of character.
Out of character, we know a lot of things. Yeah. In character, we're dumb bitches.
Yeah, baby, we're all dumb together.
Woo!
Gosh, I need to run another one shot soon. It's been a while. I want to talk about how you got into the hobby.
So it feels like a pretty common story for a lot of people these days. It was COVID, and I kept seeing edits of Critical Role on TikTok. And I was like, man, I've always wanted to get into D&D, but I never had the space to get into D&D. When I was in college, and then my friends played it, and the people who ran the club were into like LARPing and things, and that was like taking it a step too far for me at that point. Now I mean I LARPed in California. I did it. We did it. It was fun. But like at the time, that was, for someone coming in, that was a little much for me. But yeah, I started watching Critical Role. I watched Campaign 2 before I watched Campaign 1, which I highly recommend doing. Otherwise, you'll never get through Campaign 1. And, but I binged all of both series in like 4 months. So it's like 800 hours of bullshit of D&D, so I learned a lot real fast. And then as I was getting into it, I started watching more things on TikTok about D&D, and then mutual Sabrina made a TikTok about applying for a TTRPG podcast. I was like, well, fuck it, what the fuck do I have to lose? And so I applied, and then I made a bunch of friends, and we all played D&D together for all the times. That was really how I got into it. And now we're still playing D&D together. Actually, I'm pretty sure the rejects from that podcast, our podcast is still going, and the original podcast is not going.
That's true. I was there.
She threw that. She just gave us that tea. Just, hey, by the way, I still know that y'all didn't continue.
Y'all said no, and then you fizzled out.
Sucks to suck, man.
You chose poorly.
To be fair, too, I did have a home game. Like, before I applied for the podcast, one of my friends was just getting into D&D, and her boyfriend, now fiance, was just getting into D&D. So my ex, my best friend, and then her boyfriend, we all played a game together, and that was when I made my first character and played D&D for really the first time, playing it and making a backstory and all those fun things.
What was your first character?
Her name was Navara, and she pops up in some of my backstories now for the characters now, because I make her like a pseudo mom for some of my characters. And she was a wood elf wizard. And she was a badass. She had tattoos on her face in Elven, and it was the name of all of her fallen family members. They were all killed. Like, her entire village was destroyed, decimated in a war. And she had scars up and down her back and one across her face, and that's what she used to cover she used her tattoos to kind of cover the scarring on her face. And but she lost a little brother and her mom and her dad, and so she has all their names down her arms in Elven, and she was just in a fun little group with a tiefling and a dragonborn.
Do you feel like your first character kind of dips into all your other characters as you create them now?
Yes. There are pieces of Navara in every single character that I've ever created, point blank, period. Like, to the ones that were just jokes. Like, there's still pieces of her and things that I've learned from her game and playing her that I know as a player, I'm too perceptive. I can't play a non-wise or non-intelligent character. I am physically unable to play a dumb character. I've tried and I fail. I can't do it. So intelligence and wisdom are never my dumb stat. Honestly, those are usually my highest scores. Because I'll play a class where those are needed because I'm better at those. So, and that starts with Navarre. She was a wizard, so intelligence was my highest stat. And I hated not being able to see things, so then I kind of threw things into perception if perception is an option to take into proficiency. I take it.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pieces of her in everything.
What pieces of you showed up in Navarra?
Ooh,
Sorry, I should have told you.
no, that's a rough one. Navarra was. I created her at a time when I was very uncertain of me and like not who I was, because I was very certain of who I was, but more of like I have a lot of like insecurities when it comes to how I look. And so I played off of that for her, where I gave her the opposite, where I made her the super confident person who has tattoos on her face, who doesn't give a fuck what anyone says about her or what she looks like. And yeah, she's getting looks because she's got the scarring in the face and the two colored eyes and the whatever. And it was a way for me to kind of drop the insecurities and be who I wanted to be rather than who I felt I actually was.
I love this game so much sometimes.
I know.
But that would make sense why she shows up in all of the other previous characters, right? Because if you're not trauma dumping your insecurities into your first character, which I think is like a reoccurring theme, especially since we've talked to people about their first characters, and like one of Adrian and I's first conversations was like our first characters, right? Mm-hmm. And like it's always the same sort of concept, right? I want to be something that's completely opposite of me, but the things that I'm focusing on are the exact things that I need to be focused on, or like I am focused on. So I think it's very interesting that we do that as a species of people.
A species of TTRPG players.
But
a rarity.
It's not. We all do. Everybody we've talked to, right?
Right.
Players want to be cool, so they're going to play the rogue. People want to be confident, so they play somebody fiery. Which is, it's not to undermine that first character. It's just, if you've learned and you've grown with this persona inside of you, then like that person's going to live literally forever in every other character. And like, it's really cool that we get to play this game where you get to continue to hold on to that memory and that person and that version of you that like really healed through playing with your friends, hopefully your friends.
Yeah, that's something that
it's just like Spy Kids 3D.
Just like Spy Kids 3D. I seriously feel that, like the because there are, Navarra had my insecurities that I flipped on its head. But if I had to pick a character that I've ever made that was the most like me, and like if I took me and just put her on a page, that's Andromeda and Half-Blood Happy Hour. And it's really hard for me sometimes in some scenes where I have to separate myself and remind myself that I'm not her. But even though like our backstories are different, I gave her a very drastic different backstory than how I grew up. But a lot of the things that she felt because of how she grew up is how I felt just in general growing up, being kind of an outsider and things. And so playing her has healed a lot of me and in my inner child of things that I have struggled with for a long time, being able to play her and play out these scenes and these things, and like having her be openly gay from the beginning, and like being openly a person of herself, and just like she loves who she loves and she doesn't give a fuck what anyone says about it. Like it was fun to play a character that was what I felt was almost like the best version of me with some of my same flaws, and see that she's still loved by all these people. It's like, I can't express to you when people are like, oh my god, Andromeda's my favorite character. I'm like, that's me. You just said I am your favorite character. Because she's me. Like, there's no better feeling than when someone goes, oh my god, I love Andromeda. I'm like, thanks. Because she's me. It's the best feeling in the world, is to know that, like, that having people say that, and I have never said this anywhere, but like having people say that really made me feel like I was worthy of that kind of love then too. Because I was really kind of going through some ups and downs when that was kind of all coming out and people were saying these kind of awesome things about Andromeda. And I was just like, well, she's me. And if you love her, then you love me. And that means I'm capable of being loved like that too. So she's very important to me. She's high on a pedestal. Andromeda is high on a pedestal for me. I love that bitch.
Which means you love yourself.
I do. I'm pretty
Hell
fucking
yeah.
awesome.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Where's my self-insert character? What do I need to do now? I need
What
a
if?
character.
Okay, hold on. Here's a campaign
Go ahead.
idea. What if we literally build ourselves?
And you just say, Gabby, Alex, Adrian. Those are the names of your characters. Those are the names of you.
And
You're
then
always in character.
And then we play Dungeons and Dragons as ourselves. And just make sometimes some wild decisions. Like, I don't know. Maybe we don't second guess everything that we say.
Maybe we just say it.
Maybe we just say it and we don't apologize. But like, listen, I think it'd be really interesting to see what like legitimately happens. Like, especially if it is one of those, or a podcast that, or some sort of game that is recorded. Adrian, add
See
this
where
to
you
the
start.
notes. Yeah.
See where it starts and then see where you end. Because I honestly think that would be a genuine thing that you could track and see as you progress. Like, how much are you healing as a person while you play yourself through these scenarios, instead of impersonating yourself onto somebody else and you're playing, oh, I'm playing, that's what my character would do. No, you don't get to hide behind a, this is what my character would do. You would do it. So do it.
All right. I'm going to flip it. Toxic Virgin, we play each other and we just try. And then we just like, oh, is that how you perceive me? And then you become self-conscious.
That sounds so much worse. Maybe we don't play that version.
It is. It's the worst version of this idea.
Oh.
I'm just trying to avoid playing myself, okay? That's not the escapism I want, okay?
It's an idea. And listen, Adrian, if I'm playing you, we're going to live stream something, and then I'm going to threaten to shave off every piece of body hair on the hour, every hour.
Hey,
And that's your trope. That's your trope.
that is my trope, but it only happened once or twice.
I want to ask you guys a question. How many people have you guys been around when they made their first character? Like, how many first characters have you guys seen and been a part of
A lot.
for a TTRPG?
So many people. I introduced, like, when I worked at PF Chang's, I introduced, like, almost, like, 5 people had already known about it, and then everybody else I just indoctrinated, because that's what I wanted to do. So I was, like, there, I was being nurturing and kind, and we played D&D, and we were just showing things off and things like that. It was a good time. Their first character, because, like, there's this idea of, like, of optimizing your character, right? You know, you have to be the halfling rogue, you have to be the elven archer, you know, things like that. And it's like, hey, I know you don't know this game. Look at the pictures, tell me what looks cool, and then I'll tell you about it. Because, to be honest, that's the baseline. You have a visualization, you can now visualize your character, now you kind of have an idea of what you want. So I kind of take them through those steps, and, you know, I've had some bad times where I had some veteran players like, oh, you're using that, it only does 1 damage, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
So?
I didn't have a voice back then when I first started. So I just sat back. I'm like, this is kind of bad. And then just like, I don't know how to interrupt people. I'm scared. So I now that I have a bit more of a voice, I'm like, I can advocate for those players. Like, listen, it looks cool. We're just going to let it happen, okay? So what if it's not optimal? We're not playing for optimal. We're playing for funds, okay?
It's for funds. Yeah, I think that's really important. Because I, as someone who has never run a one-shot in my life, I've never DM'd, I've never been a GM, I have committed to running a one-shot for my family who has never played D&D. So, any of them. Now, my brother-in-law has been interested in it and just has never found a group to play with. And so he's really excited about it. And my family is excited because they know how much it means to me. So I think that's kind of exciting. So I started building characters with my family. I'm like, I will help you individually build your characters. And each of them have a different process that they like to build characters, right? So my sister was like, so I want to be fantasy. And I'm like, okay, here's some basic races that you can play. And let me just tell you the names. And if any of them sound cool, I'll tell you what they are. And she goes, oh, well, what's a tiefling? And I was like, you're a half demon. And she goes, I'm that. And I said, done. You're a tiefling. Congratulations. She goes, well, what do they look like? I go, whatever the fuck you want them to look like. She goes, they don't have to be a certain color. I said, nope. They could be fucking bright purple. I don't give a fuck what color your tiefling is, Jenna. Whatever color you want your tiefling to be is what color your tiefling is. And then she wanted to be a druid. So she's a tiefling druid. Because that's what she wanted to be. And that's cool. That's a cool ass character. I've never played a tiefling druid. Well, I don't play druids, so there's that. But it's fun.
Whoa,
like,
back up
really
with that yelling about druids, okay? First of all, some of us want to turn into animals because we watched Animorphs far too early in our life, or listened to whatever Reddit too early in our life.
Cool. I love that for you. The problem is I played a lot of D&D on Half-Blood Happy Hour. I'm not afraid to call this bitch out. Who played only druids. And they played them shitty. And so it made me turn away from druids. Like, I don't want to play druids, man. Because I feel like if I turn into something, if I want to play Circle of the Moon, then I'm seen as basic. Because that's what I want to do. Because I want to turn into animals and I want to, attack people. That's what I want to do. But then I'm seen as basic if I do it. So I feel like I'm and if I play something else, I feel like I'm wasting my wild shapes. So I just don't give myself the stress. And instead play a wizard with limited spell slots.
Then go back to the beginning of this conversation that you literally just said, go play the thing you want to play. You just said it, Gabby.
I did.
Go play the thing you want to play. It is PSL season. Who cares if you are a basic
pumpkin
bitch?
Spice latte?
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm not. I hate coffee. I don't drink coffee. I'm sorry.
I don't like pumpkin spice, so it's fine.
I guess we should also say, I'm gonna also say this. I literally don't give a shit if you play anything basic. Except for me, because I feel like people judge me. So this is, you know what I mean? I'm not judging you.
No.
You play whatever you want, and I love it, and I support it.
No, I don't. Because you love and support everybody else, and why do they not love and support you too if you want to make a basic-ass choice? Gabby, we're going to play this is it now, okay? So the Gabby's character is going to be a Circle of the Moon druid, and we're going to work through all of our inner teenager, inner child nonsense. And it'll be fine.
Stop
it'll be
being
great.
a people pleaser and just play something that you want to play.
Who cares? And we're gonna love you regardless. Period.
All right, I've already set up the group chat. We're gonna play druids and shit. Okay, don't worry about it.
There's a little notification. I was like, what? What did he add me to?
Yeah, I sent it on Discord.
Oh, shit.
We got plans now. We got plans and shit.
Plans.
That's gonna be great. Honestly, let's do it.
In my own defense, I am playing out of my comfort zone for Tony's D&D campaign, Silver Dunes. We're gonna start recording soon. I'm playing a paladin. Okay. Oof. And so I need to preface that I only play rangers, rogues, and spellcasters. And when I say spellcasters, I really just mean wizards. That's what I play. So I'm a little anxious. I have played a warlock before. Minimal spell slots make me anxious, so I don't play warlocks anymore. But I'm anxious about playing a paladin because I have to hit things and pop.
Pop.
I agree with you. I think being up close to somebody is too personal, and like, I do just want to kill you.
I want to kill you from 100 yards away and just.
I love getting in the mix, even though when I'm not supposed to.
That's Olivia. If you've listened to any episode that she's been in, she fireballed herself once. She's well, technically it's happened twice, but this is the first time on pod that it's happened. And then she gets downed by Emily because guess what? She's right in the middle of the fray. She's a wizard. Get the fuck out. What are you doing? Dying. That's
Not
why I
optimal,
don't like
but
playing
fun.
people. Well, not optimal, but fun.
I don't understand why they have so few hit points. It doesn't make sense.
They're squishy babies.
What do you draw inspire for your characters? Other than from your first character, what other mediums kind of inspire you?
Childhood trauma.
Middle school trauma, high school trauma. No,
High school trauma.
In all actuality and seriousness, a lot of the books that I read, I like to pull my favorite characteristics from some of my favorite female characters. I like to pull from them. I read a lot of Sarah J. Maas. She's probably my favorite author that I've ever read. And I pull a lot from Selena. From her, I also pull a lot from Aelin. I pull a lot. I'm not so much from Feyre. She's just my soft girl that she just needs loved and appreciated for her entire life. But a lot of the confidence and stuff I pull from Bryce from the Crescent City series. So I pull a lot from Sarah J. Maas's work and kind of input pieces of them into there. Or like, I'm going to play a rogue. But guess what? She's a secret royal. I don't know why, because it's fucking fun. And I want to.
We'll figure out the specifics later.
She's
ran
gonna
away.
be
Who
real
knows?
white. She's gonna be extra white.
So white.
She's gonna be so white.
She's gonna be all white.
She's gonna be all white.
Adrian's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she's gonna be white.
Why are we talking like a ooh voice?
Dude,
What?
so obviously, Alex, you've read Sarah J. Maas, right?
Yeah.
Have you read
Yes.
Throne
Okay,
not
hold
Throne of
on.
Glass?
Hold on. Back it up. Hold on. Blech.
Okay, backing up.
Okay, listen. I read the first 3 Throne of Glass books.
Okay.
It was a lot. And I was not in there.
was?
It was a time,
is
it was
a lot.
turbulent, and I just couldn't get behind it.
I don't blame you.
I tried.
Did you read Akatar?
I have read Akatar. In fact, you know what? Let me the middle book that we got, the novella, which I paid way
Court of
too
Frost
much
and
money
Starlight?
for. Yeah,
Why'd you pay money? Why'd you pay so much money for it?
because it's signed.
I just threw up. You have a signed Sarah J. Maas book?
I have a signed Sarah J. Maas book, but I was so mad because I read it so fast. I was like, "This fucking fan fiction! I just paid so much money for a fan fiction."
It's a novella. It's a placeholder. It's just supposed to be this is the nice things. There's no plot.
I know, but I need a little plot. Like, we don't need
So what did you?
listen.
So how much plot did you like in Nesta's book? What plot was in Nesta's book?
Excuse me, as a recovering person who
I'm kidding. I'll be honest with you. I did not
No.
like Nesta. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna say it.
That's
I was
fair.
not a fan of Nesta. As an oldest sibling, I was not a fan of Nesta because I was like, how would you do this to your youngest sister? And then I read Nesta's book and I realized why I hated Nesta was because I hate myself and I am Nesta. That's why I didn't like Nesta. And that is the kind of healing that I was not ready for when I read a book that had 99% smut and blowjobs in it, okay? I wasn't ready for the trauma healing.
Can I tell you something? Hold on. Last week we started working out with. I work out with one of my coworkers. I guess friends. He can be upgraded. It's fine. But he couldn't finish our workout one day because he had to go do something before work, and so I was like, I'm just gonna go get on the stairs. It's gonna be great, bitch. When I tell you. It was not like I was going quickly. It's not like I was on the Stairmaster like, ha, 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 ha. I was slow. I wasn't holding onto the bars, okay? So, like, I'll give you myself that credit. But I
Proud of you.
lasted 15 minutes and did 6 floors, and that's it. Fuck that. 600 steps is all I could manage in 15 minutes, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
And then
So
there's Nesta.
the inner healing, yeah, it's real. It's the whole
It's
time I was
a-
like,
The reason why I asked though is because you said white. I have to ask, how do you see the Bat Boys? Because if you tell me that you look at fan art and you see them as white, and do you agree or disagree with them being whitewashed?
can I? But that makes no sense. Okay, you were in the court of night. Okay, so like, if I think about creatures that live at night, not saying that people are creatures, right? We're not starting that
They're
nonsense.
fae.
But
First
like,
of all, they're fae. So
okay, yeah. So fantasy creatures, but regular creatures that we have in our world. If we're talking about camouflage, they're going to be darker. They are going to have. It does not it doesn't make sense for you to have black ass wings and be white.
nope. And here's the thing: is I'm pretty sure, and this is just me, and maybe I just am inputting descriptors where there were none. I swear she described them as having darker skin, especially when at the end of Akatar with Reese, she mentions that even just having the few moments in the sun darkened his skin even more than it already was. And I'm like, it's there in the books, you dumb motherfuckers. They're not white. They're not white. Don't tell me Reese is right. That motherfucker is not white.
I do not know why we can't just accept it. Okay, back it up. It's a book. It also makes sense for people to be colored differently because in our world right here where we're pulling our inspiration from, people are all sorts of different colors. They look very
Yes.
different. So why do they always have to be like the same? Listen, can I just have one just like chubby bear love interest that like, can I just have that? Like, I love Reese, but give me a chubby bear, please. Please.
That's why I think I loved, a lot of people didn't like Crescent City. If you haven't read Crescent City, not too many spoilers.
It's on my list.
I won't give too many spoilers. I will say that the love interest is hunky as shit, and I'm not gonna lie here. I love the love interest. 10 out of 10. I agree they need to be together. Everyone else go fuck yourselves. Second of all, Bryce is described as being a plus-sized woman with extra cushion. And everyone draws her as skinny. I'm like, she's not skinny! She's big. That doesn't mean, just because she's big doesn't mean she can't fight. They're like, well, that doesn't make sense. I go, yes, it does. There's literally a scene where she tries to suffocate a man with her thighs. Like, shut the fuck up.
I was just waiting for Adrian. That was just an Adrian moment.
Okay.
Dear listener, the eyes were just big.
Big.
I
Someone's
don't.
living my dream.
You could be living your own dream, reading more books.
Yeah.
I've got one I still need to read, so I'll worry about that.
One book. Wouldn't that be a nice life, Gabby, to have one book that you had to read?
I
As
just
we're
out of
having this
curiosity-
conversation, my Libby popped up twice and was like, "Hey, your book is ready."
Hey, this is just a question. How many books do y'all think I have? Well, I'll start off with this. I always do a Goodreads, a challenge. I always do a challenge for the year, right?
Yeah.
I've done one the past 2 years. This is my third year doing it. I'm gonna ask, how many books do you think I have read the past 3 years? Like, if you had to say, like, I think you might have read this much this year, whatever. Like, what do you think an average number of books for me to read a year is?
How are you consuming these books?
I consume them in 3 ways. I have physical books, audiobooks, and Kindle books. And I consume in all 3. Now, I will say I've only started doing all 3 this year. The prior 2 years, it was Kindle and physical books. I just started really getting into
does help.
audiobooks this year.
I know your goal for last year was like 300 or something, like one for every day.
No. My goal was 90 last year because I was pregnant and I was like uncertain of how well I would feel. So I did not make. I will say this: 2021, my goal was 52 books. I surpassed that because I wanted to read one book a week. And then the next year, I took what I had read the previous year and said, I will down it some to hopefully hit that. So I did it to 90. I also hit that and said, okay. So then this year, I made my goal as 100 books. It is
In the
October.
last 3 years,
So like
I
you're
think you have
averaging
read
75?
like 215.
That's a really high.
It feels like a lot, but listen, I was going to give it to you. Especially since you started getting the audiobooks in there.
I appreciate that. I will say this year's been hectic as hell. However, I've still consumed 96 books this year already.
See, 96
So-
this year.
96 this year.
You hit 90 last year.
I hit 98 last year, and the year before that, I hit 117.
So I'm not crazy in saying 215. That was
No.
close.
That was pretty close for the 3 years total.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say 500, just because
That's
I
a
don't know
lot.
how fast y'all read
That's a
books.
lot of books.
And here's the
That's a
other
lot.
problem.
I read one a year.
Do you know what my TBR is? What's physical? I have so many physical books. I have so many physical on my TBR because I see a physical book, I want it, I buy it. It's a problem because I still have
Yep.
physical books I
Yep.
need to read. But I have Kindle
Yep.
Unlimited.
TBR
Do you know
means
where-
to be read.
Yes.
Yes. Do you know how hard it is to have a Kindle Unlimited account? It's shitty because I'm scrolling on TikTok and there's a scene that someone describes of, they're fake dating or they're fake married and he keeps calling her wife and then he I don't know, there's a misunderstanding and I have to know how it plays out. So what do? I go to Amazon, I add it to my Kindle library, and then I read it. I'm consuming 3 books right now. I'm consuming The Midnight Library, which is a physical book, which is sadder than I anticipated. And then I'm reading The Lady of Darkness on my Kindle, which is like fantasy Akhtar Throne of Glass vibes. And then my audiobook, highly recommend listening to Smut as an audiobook. Just do it. Especially if you find the right narrators. Just...
What was the last book you said?
Which one? The Kindle book or the audiobook? I didn't say the audiobook.
Your Kindle. No, your Kindle.
The Lady of Darkness.
Okay.
And I'm about 50-60% way through Lady of Darkness, and it's pretty good. And I think there's a series, and I'm really excited to finish the series if it continues to go as well as it is.
I agree. I think I have... What do I have? 3. I do have 3. Oh, I do have 3. I was gonna try to be on this high horse that says I only do 1 at a time. I don't. I have 3. I'm reading the first Outlander right now. That's
that
the one that's
audiobook. I
going
wanna
with
read
me. Have you watched the show?
I have not because I wanted to read the books first. So I've refused to watch the show.
That's fair. In comparison, there's not really one that's all that. I wouldn't say it takes it away because I watched the show first and then I'm reading the book. I would say it's fine to do either one. I think the actor that plays Jamie is stunning and it's worth it. It's just a lot of rape. So there's that.
That's nice to know going
What else
in.
am I reading? There's a lot. I'm reading Stiff right now, but it's a nonfiction book. It's about
don't do
cadavers. It's
I
fair.
love myself. I don't read nonfiction.
It's fair. I really only read death and dying nonfiction.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Why are you looking like that, Adrian?
Adrian, do you want to know the concept of the audiobook that I'm listening to right now? Then you can make it. Then you can judge. Then you can make a judging face.
No, I'm not judging. I'm just like, man, more than one book is a lot.
Well,
yeah, but they're in
I
different
keep them as- they're different genres and they're different formats, so it's easy to keep them separate for me. I'm not saying that this is a thing that everyone should do or could do. This is just what works for me. Because when I'm at work, I have to listen to audiobooks, because when I listen, then I can get stuff done. But when I'm at home, I like to read on my Kindle, and right before bed, I read it in a physical book because it helps me go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
I have Libby on my phone, which I read whenever I'm in transit or I'm waiting for something. So I picked that up because my phone is in my hand and I would like to do something other than scrolling TikTok. And then I have, what's the other? I don't even know. The other book is a vampire book. I don't remember the title. It's a young, I think it's a teen,
Crave?
actually teen book. So it's not great. No.
Is it Crave?
It's something different. I'll run downstairs in a moment and grab it. Do you know what I did read that I was like, I was not prepared emotionally, mentally, was The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. Have you read that one?
No, I have not.
It's not, it's straight up smut.
Say less.
I guess I have to ask. I have to ask this. Like, what are the kinks in it? That's the best way to ask it. What are the kinks that are in it?
It would be easier for me to list what are not the kinks. Okay.
Even fucking better.
Easier, except for monster. There's no monster fucking in there. Okay, so like there's that. But
come on.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it was a book written by Anne Rice under a pen name. So she wrote something not in her name, which was what was scandalous. But Sleeping Beauty, the way that this book starts is that Prince comes in and like bangs Sleeping Beauty awake. And then he's like, all right, you're mine now, and I'm going to take you to my castle. And then she's like a sex slave.
Oh. I read that book. Not that book specifically, but I have read a sex slave book.
Yeah.
It's called The Ritual.
It's weird.
I was judged for it by some of my friends. And I said, look, I'm not reading it because I'm saying that I would do that. But now I'm 100 pages in and I need to know how it turns out. Do they end up loving each other or is it always just sex? I have to know. Spoilers.
I'm here for the plot.
Spoilers. They ended up falling in love with each other. Okay. You want to know what I'm reading right now? Okay. We did it. We're talking about smut. I'm just going to say it.
Yep.
I started a book. Actually, so there's this author. Her name's Harley LaRoe. She wrote Her Soul to Take. She writes... that is right now I think there's 3 books in it, and it's 3 different demons taking 3 different women in a town. And I love that series. That's not the series I'm reading right now, but obviously I've read her and I like her smut, I like her storylines. And I was like, okay, someone goes, oh my gosh, you should read The Dare. And I go, what's The Dare? And they go, it's a short little novella, you'll love it. And I said, what the fuck do I care? Like, sure, I'll read it. Turns out my sister has the book. So I was like, oh, I'll read it. Read The Dare. Yeah, it's a novella. I was like, where's more? The novella is that the Halloween party, the queen bitch from high school, they're all in college now, queen bitch in high school, the people she used to make fun of, the 4 boys she used to make fun of, win a dare where she has to be, he dares her to be her slave for the rest of the night. And she goes, yeah, I'll do it. What the fuck do I care? Because she's finding out that she has a little bit of a humiliation kink as he's humiliating her in front of all of their high school friends. And so like what ends up happening is the 4 of them like take her into a room and it's like that's the thing and that's the whole book. That's the book. And I was just like, well, I have to know like what happens. She walks off with them at the end and they're like, does she end up with them or does she ghost them? Like what happens? So then there's a losers duology, the losers part 1, losers part 2, and I'm just like, I'm gonna read it. So I have the audiobook. First of all, the narrators, top-notch narrators. I will listen to anything these motherfuckers put out. I don't give a shit. Narrators make or break an audiobook. I will stand by that because I have read a book on Kindle Unlimited and I'm like, it's okay. Then I listened to the audiobook and I was like, wow, 5 out of 5 stars. How the hell did that happen? The narrators. She ghosted them. She was like, my expectations, like, people think of me here and you guys are here and, like, I can't do what I want. I have to do what's expected of me and da-da-da-da. I'm like, honey, but they're so good looking. Anyway, so her car breaks down and they're mechanics, and she offers to pay them in a different way, and now they're all in love with each other, and one of them almost said love you on the phone, and it was so beautiful, and you just eat that, it's so delicious. It's so good. I want to listen to it now.
Yeah, I know. I can. You look so excited for it.
It's so good. I hate how much I like some of this stuff because like it's not like it's well written shit. It's not like there's a lot of really good writing. Although I will say what's really nice about The Losers that I don't get a lot about in a lot of other polyamorous or like reverse harem situations is that like in a lot of the reverse harems it's like the girl and then the guys are all just with the girl or she has a relationship with each of the guys and that's just kind of how it is. In this book series, the guys all have a relationship with each other first. So, like, they are all together in a relationship. Like, two of them have kind of paired off, but they all still kind of are together, and they have their little family unit as a four, and they're bringing the girl in. So, it's more of we all love each other polyamorous rather than you're our center and we're the spokes, which is more fun.
Right.
For me.
Gotcha.
You got the book.
What?
I did. It's called Beautiful.
Oh. I'll have to look into it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's cute. We haven't gotten anywhere. I think that's the problem. Is because I have Outlander, so I'm trying to finish Outlander because it's a big book, and I was carrying both of them at the same time because that's sometimes what you do.
It's really
and I want to get rid of the bigger book
too. It's so hard sometimes. Like for me, when I go from reading adult or new adult books, and with new adult themes, not even smut, take smut out of it, just new adult themes, to then reading a YA book. I'm 28. Okay, it's hard to read YA sometimes and be like, just get the fuck over it. It's high school. No one's gonna remember. It's really hard sometimes when I'm reading it to be like, oh my god, they're 18. Just remember they're 18. They're 18. They're 18.
I just finished The Way I Used to Be.
Their world is falling apart, and it's like, shut up.
Yep. I just finished The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith, which is... and it starts off with her being sexually abused, right? So it's her journey through the abuse and, like, through high school. And, like, the whole time you're like, just say something to somebody. I know it's important, but just say something. Everything will be better. And you're like, the whole time you're like, okay, like, I'm stressed. Your mom's not doing shit. Your dad's not doing shit. Let me come in and be your mom now. Like, I'm done with them. You need some help. Let's go to therapy. It's apparent.
Yes. That's kind of like when you get the miscommunication trope or the third act breakup in romance books. I fucking hate that shit. Just fucking, if you took 2 seconds to talk to each other, this wouldn't be happening.
Fucking Pride and Prejudice.
I'm gonna end it there. There. I found it. I found the ending. Before we go on too long, I should just have a book. You know, you don't need me here because I can't contribute. It's just you, Lucy. I don't know who else. You'll
Maybe
take over the podcast
Jaden.
for an episode and just talk about book shit. Yeah, Jaden. I don't
Girls'
fucking
night.
read. I don't read.
I'll get wine.
So
I'll
I'm
get
like-
a babysitter. I'll get some wine. My babysitter's my mom because I
exactly.
live with her. So.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I live with my mom right now because I'm jobless.
I live with my mom right now because job or houses are expensive and I'd rather save my money.
There's always save it. It's over.
All right.
Listen,
On
as
that
the
depressing
as the cool adult in this chat room.
This is a podcast.
Did we forget we're doing a podcast?
No, we're. I've
This is
just
just a chat
invited y'all, and we're just chatting. Okay, It was real gross. I am so sorry. No, just save your money. It's fine. You have loving families. Just lean into the loving family, please.
You almost had that vibe of that ukulele apologist. What's her name?
Oh,
Don't you dare!
Miranda
Don't
Sings.
you
You're
dare!
you're in a chat room with me. I'm the cool adult, and I'm like, bad vibes, dude. Bad vibes. I am 29. Okay.
I want to go wash my entire body off with bleach.
Do that.
I will, because that we should have just ended it with Pride and Prejudice, because now we got.
I tried.
It's true. It's fine. Then you wanted to suggest other projects that we should start taking up.
Yeah, I'll do that without me because I don't read.
It's like a 2-episode special.
Yeah, do it. Make it happen.
No, it's like 30 minutes every other week.
We just talk about the books
we
that
need
we're
more than
reading,
that.
that we've read.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
All right, Adrian, we'll get it
Just
worked
a
out.
little
It's fine.
special. You have my contact info.
Maybe we just. Well, yeah. Oh my god.
We'll revive the Discord.
Chat.
It's fine. No. We have the you left that Discord. We're fine. We don't need you.
Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, like.
No, we don't need
Scrolls.
you. I'm in that one. I'm gonna play.
Gabbi, where can they find you?
You can find me on the TikTok at GayGabs. I don't post a lot anymore because I've had a lot of life crises, but I'm hoping to start getting back into posting some book talk stuff. Working through my physical TBR, giving some reviews and such like that. You can see me on Doubles in the Dice as Zoe on the latest Johnny's House. Also, I think I'm playing Zoe this time. Maybe Zoe was the last one. I don't remember anymore what character I played when. You can see me on Doubles in the Dice, and honestly, you can see me on Half Blood Happy Hour as Olivia L. Lancaster. She is a wizard in A Southern Belle or Andromeda, everyone's favorite Ranger Rogue. That's where you can find me.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us anywhere pods are cast, so if you have a friend, a family member, an arch nemesis that needs a new podcast in their life, please just suggest that they listen to this, because it's just a fun time. Chaos and friendships and magic and smut. So enjoy it. You can also find us on the Patreon if you need to help support your small local podcasts. It doesn't matter if we're local or not. It's fine. You can still support us. And please check out anything that we ever suggest, because it's always great.
I don't know if you know this, Alex, but I've made the last 2 episodes, I'm putting anything we've mentioned, like an article or a movie, I've been putting it in the notes, like underneath it.
I love that.
We've referred to so many books I'm going to have to look up today.
I promise you, if somebody who's already on like Book Talk is listening to this episode, you don't need to go look those books up. We know what to do when a book title is mentioned. We know what to do. I've got them. Mm-hmm. We've got it. But Gabby's got a program. I got a program. Like we know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Know what to do.
Don't worry about it.
I won't. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
I'm Gabbi.
Go have some fun.
Boo-doo-boo.